This afternoon, Minority Caucus reject Health Minister's claim that the previous NPP administration, before exiting power, employed over 15,000 nurses without financial clearance. Also on, operations at the Konyako Headworks resumes months after being shut due to pollution from illegal mining and compromised water quality. Later on, Chairman of the National Democratic Congress, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, once again defends his decision to embark on a thank you tour despite pressure on him to suspend same. And frustrated residents of Somanya and Odumase in the Eastern region protest the deplorable state of their road networks. Many stories and more coming up in the next 30 minutes. My name is Grace Hamwajiman. This is the Media News on 3FM 92.7. Many thanks for joining us. Let's begin the bulletin from here. The minority in Parliament is this afternoon pushing back against claims that they are responsible for the growing number of unemployed graduate nurses in the country. Ranking member on the Health Committee, Dr. Nana Eyiwafriye, has criticized government for failing to pay some health workers for close to 10 months. According to him, the previous administration had secured financial clearance for 15,200 nurses and midwives last year, out of which about 8,000 were employed before the change of government. His comments follow a news conference addressed by the Health Minister, Kwabena Akando, who insists the current administration is working to fix what he described as the mess left behind by the previous government.
In January 2025, when we took office as government, in the Ministry of Health, we inherited a situation where about 13,500 nurses and midwives had been recruited and posted without financial clearance, without any provision to pay them. In fact, the financial clearance with respect to the 13,500 nurses and midwives expired on 31st December 2024. What it means is that when a financial clearance is issued, you must necessarily migrate the health professionals onto the payroll before the expiration of the clearance.
Health Minister Kwabena Akando, our parliamentary correspondent Christian Yali has been following the exchanges. He joins us on more. Christian, what more have they been saying to you?
Great. So the minority during their engagement presented us with a clearance letter that was issued last year by the then Minister of State and the Finance Ministry, Abinose Asare, which was dated 17th July 2024, and indicated that the appointment of those nurses and midwives shouldn't be earlier than 1st September, which means that it should have taken effect from 1st September 2024. Now, the case they make is that the past administration was able to make a financial clearance for these nurses and midwives. And so what it means is that they should be able, or the government of the day should be able to ensure that that contract or the clearance, even if it has expired, should be extended. And so there is no need for the minister to now say that he's now moving to cabinet to secure a new clearance for these health professionals. In fact, they make a case that it is never true and can never be said that it is this or the past administration, it is their fault for the current numbers that are still not paid for about 10 months. We can take a listen to what Dr. Nana Eyiwafriye has been saying.
This financial clearance, which was issued on the 17th of July, took effect immediately. The agencies that recruited, and this was the 7,000 or the 8,000 government keeps saying that were cleared financially. They are all part of this 15,000. Now, what happened was this. The Ministry of Health, which is responsible for the teaching hospitals, recruited theirs. So on the same financial clearance, last year, they recruited theirs and they were paid 5 months. So all those who the ministry recruited with regards to this clearance had their 5 months salaries from July, August, September, October. Now the difference is that the ministry was able to do its validations and they did it spot on. However, they also did that recruitment before 31st December. Now, this clearance expired on the 31st December in item 7. As you read, it said, please note that this financial clearance expires on the 31st of December 2024 and cannot be used thereafter. Now, in normal public administration and civil service of this country, financial clearances expire. Even under this government, they will have financial clearances expire and they will go for extension. It is a normal practice in the system. It's no news, but you could only use it when you go for an extension for the Ministry of Finance. So why didn't government see the need? Money was allocated for 15,000. You came in 7,000 or almost 8,000 had started. The remaining were employed by Ghana Health Service, albeit they were late, but they were at post. You didn't see the need to tell the institutions to reject them. Neither did the institutions write to you to reject them. What it meant was that they filled the gap and they were needed to be at post. So the institution used them.
Christian, if you can hear me, talk to us if the minority has been making any specific demands in regards to this issue.
Great. Even before I get to the bit of the demand, they are saying that as a minority caucus, they have been very reasonable enough over the period by extending a goodwill to the government and even, especially to the ordinary Ghanaian citizen who need daily healthcare services to survive. And so they have seen the need to even speak to the nurses whenever they come to the committees for them to exercise some level of patience and restraint. But they've just realized that the health minister, through his utterances, is only dragging them into what they see as a political game. And so for which reason, they are saying that there are funds available and they want the health minister and government to begin to pay these health professionals from the end of this month. Dr. Adu has more to say.
Well, we'll bring our listeners that audio subsequently. Christian, thank you for bringing us those updates. My colleague, Christian Yale, bringing us details on that presser by the minority on some comments made by the health minister on who is causing unemployment in the country. Let's move away from that and do other stories because there's some relief for residents in parts of the central region as operations at the Kwenyakun headworks have finally resumed months after being shut down due to severe pollution from illegal mining activities that contaminated the water source and disrupted supply to several districts. The development forced thousands of residents to find alternative sources of water, albeit it at cost. During a visit to the facility, Central Regional Minister Ekopening Eduamua Ochre said interventions such as surface pumping have significantly improved the quality of water produced. He added that additional measures are being rolled out to guarantee long-term sustainable water production at the headworks. Let's listen to him.
They have gone through some intervention, one of which is now they've been able to install another pump at the surface level. Their original pump goes deep about 6 meters, and now they are installing about 2 of them at 2 meters so that the water can be drawn from the surface level, who then will not be affected by the mud at the lowest level. And so that is what has given us the strength to produce water to the general public. The information I'm getting from management, the activity level is now from where they are getting the water, the level they are getting water is just about 200, which is below their range. And so quality is now assured and that people must not panic about what they are receiving. They are not giving us the full potential, full strength of their production because of the intervention. This is supposed to be temporary. We're praying that we continue to have rains. We clear the Galamsey operators from that level at the Enum Apepem, and also they are also in preparation to desert, which is part of their routine maintenance. And when that is done, the pump at the 6 meters down can also start working. In the meantime, they are adding on to what they have at the surface at the 2 meters so that they can give us more water.
That was the Central Regional Minister, Eko Penny Eduamwa. Let's move away from the Central Region and go to the Eastern Region, where residents of Somanya and Odumase are calling on the Ministry of Roads and Highways to urgently fix the Somanya-Odumase Road, which has deteriorated badly, making travel along the stretch almost unbearable. The residents say a contractor began rehabilitation works a few months before the last general elections, but abandoned the project soon after the December polls. Since then, no progress has been made and the road's condition has worsened, disrupting daily commute, transport of goods, and even access to health and emergency services. Our Eastern Regional correspondent Yvonne Ikwe has been speaking with some of the frustrated residents who hit the streets earlier today. Yvonne, what more can you report from Somanya?
Well, Grace, the residents of the Kobo Enclave, I should say, comprising of Somanya, Agomanya, Odumase, and the extension, the Akuse area, says that for a long while there's been shortchanged by the political regime, both the actual NCP and the current NDC, because months into the elections, contractors were on the stretch to fix the road, but just after the polls, they've left. Again, earlier on this month, the Eastern Regional Minister, Rita Wase, met the youth in this area to convince them that the first week of October, they will fix the road, but we are in the second week and they haven't seen anything. And so the youth decided to demonstrate. Yesterday, in the evening, just to see contractors with the drip machines back on the street. They believe that this is not a goodwill from the Lower Manya District Assembly, the regional minister himself, and all government officials who have promised to fix the road. This particular street has 3 health facilities on the street. We're talking about a poor government hospital and St. Martin the Forest Public Hospital. For all referrals to the Central Hospital in Koforidua, this is the stretch they use. So it means that health-wise, people will be in danger. Again, we'll have lots more communities who catch their produce from villages across this constituency to nearby regions. And so if this road is not done for them, by giving government 60 days timeline, otherwise they will turn into another thing.
We can listen to some of the residents now. Well, we apologize for that. We'll bring you that audio subsequently. But earlier was my colleague Yvonne Ikwe, our correspondent in the Eastern Region, talking to us about that demonstration by residents of Somanya and Odumase. Let's do some politics right now, because the chairman of the National Democratic Congress, Johnson Asiedun Ketia, has once again defended his decision to embark on a thank you tour across the country. Mr. Asiedun Ketia, who has begun a 5-day tour of the Volta region today, told party members and chiefs in Hohoi that the move is grounded in tradition and intended to ensure that he and the NDC keep to the promises made to Ghanaians during the electioneering campaign. Let's listen to Asiedun Ketia, who has been talking about a lot of issues, including Galamsey and Oral. Well, we'll bring you that audio subsequently, and also we can hear him now.
For our promise to control Galamsey, which we are yet to deliver on, they are blaming government for our promise to create jobs for all the youth. Work has started, but it hasn't shown results yet. I just want to remind everybody that however hard you try, you cannot produce a child in less than 9 months. If you marry today, and you say that people are teasing me some time for the water bodies to be clean. If you stop the mining in forest reserve, it will take some time for us to reclaim the forest and plant new trees. So I am happy about the progress being made. And I want all of you to commend the government for the work that has been done so far. People have been.
The NDC chair has also been talking about progress made so far when it comes to oral.
Another difficult promise which we are struggling to deliver, and that is the Operation Recover or Lose. We all know how much the MPP government in 8 years has stolen from the national coffers. And we have promised to recover all the monies that have been stolen. We are not yielding. And work has started seriously to ensure that these monies are recovered and they are put to good use. Already, there are moves. Also,
Chairman of the National Democratic Congress, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, there. This is the media news on 3FM 92.7. We're also live on all our social media platforms, 3FM 927. Let's do some other stories now. President Mahama says an interministerial committee is set to be inaugurated to conduct feasibility studies ahead of the establishment of a green digital city in Ghana. He estimates the project to be completed in phases within 20 years. Meanwhile, President John Mahama also revealed that Ghana and China are set to conclude on a zero tariff agreement by end of this month. China has said that the expansion of its zero tariff policy to cover all 53 African countries, including Ghana, is set to maintain diplomatic ties to boost Africa's economy and offer the continent a benchmark to seek equal or better terms from other trading partners. Speaking at a presidential investment forum in Beijing, China, President John Mahama announced that both nations have reached an agreement towards achieving that course.
As part of Ghana's transformation, we plan to establish a new green city that will straddle the three regions of Greater Accra, Volta, and Eastern regions. I'll soon inaugurate an interministerial committee to guide the design and feasibility study of this new city. I'll also appoint a transaction advisor to lead the process for the implementation of this all-important project. This will be a green digital city and will display cutting-edge technology in urban design, planning, and innovation. This city is planned to be a 20-year project executed in 4 phases, and my expectation is that the first phase will commence before my tenure of office runs out. I invite our Chinese colleagues to be a part of this all-important project. As part of Ghana's transformation, we plan to establish a new green city that will straddle the three regions of Greater Accra, Volta, and Eastern regions. I'll soon inaugurate an interministerial committee to guide the design and feasibility study of this new city. I'll also appoint a transaction advisor to lead the process for the implementation of this all-important project. This will be a green digital city and will display cutting-edge technology in urban design, planning, and innovation.
President John Dramani Mahama there. If you are an unemployed teacher, then I have good news for you, because there's some relief for thousands of unemployed teachers who recently picketed at the Ministry of Education. Government has approved the release of over 1 billion cedis to settle their allowances. Education Minister Haruna Idrisu, who was addressing a news conference in Accra, says the move is part of efforts to reduce tensions among unemployed teachers and health professionals. He believes this timely intervention will prevent future protests at government ministries. So far, the ministry, in collaboration with National Security, has arrested some than 3 suspects linked to the placement scandal.
a few weeks ago, myself and Chief Director received a petition from some teachers who are unhappy with the government over their unending. They work for a number of months without pay. I'm happy to announce that Cabinet has given approval for the 6,200 teachers to be absolved. We'll begin the process in due course. They will have their IDs, but as I assured them, they will get back pay. But you see, but for their conduct, what do we get in return? How that they didn't disrupt any academic work. So those 6,200 teachers, I think I can speak for both ministries in this matter. Cabinet gave the Minister of Finance approval to via budget and spend about 1.1 billion Ghana cedis to absolve a category of health workers and teachers. The process will start soon, and therefore no more picketing or picketing, they say. I'll be happy to answer any questions, but let this press briefing focus on Adia.
Education Minister Haruna Idris is still on education. For many schools and clinics in Ghana, erratic power doesn't just mean darkness. It means disrupted lessons and compromised health care. But to ensure that learning and healing are no longer at the mercy of power outages, some selected schools and health facilities within the Kwadaso municipality are now being powered by the sun as part of the Municipal Climate Mitigation and Adaptation Program supported by the German development partners. Let's go on the phone and speak to my colleague Ibrahim Abubakar in the Ashanti region, who has more on this story. Ibrahim, if you can hear me, talk to me about what this project entails. Ibrahim?
Hello, I can hear you.
Yes, Ibrahim, what has the power situation in the selected facilities be, and how impactful will this intervention be to them?
Well, most of the beneficial facilities have not had stable power supply for some time now. We are talking about some 13 or 23 schools and also 3 health centers within the Kwadaso municipality. And when you look at the project, it is also even targeting to achieve 2 goals. One is to fight climate change, and the second is to ensure that critical services such as schools and health facilities never go back. So they have now introduced solar panels to these facilities and have taken them completely off the national grid so that they will be able to have constant power supply and be able to deliver their services. For the schools, especially students who depend on digital tools and for science labs, that need constant power. This, they say, will be a game changer. And also for the health facilities, constant power will mean that they will have uninterrupted healthcare delivery in those facilities. And the MC for the area and also the project manager have been speaking on the impact of this intervention. Let's listen to what they've been saying.
We realized that Ghana, we can harvest the sun. We have a lot of sun, so we decided, why don't we harvest the sun and use it for energy other than depending on the national grid. And in doing so, we realized that there are key areas in Ghana, public institutions that are very important. One of them is the health centers, and the other one is schools. In Yasantua, here we are. You can imagine they have over 3,000 children. When the light goes off, how are they going to do preps? So this is there to mitigate their systems so that when the light goes off, they can. But then what we have done, we have taken them off from national grid completely, so they need not to pay electricity bill.
We have 24 schools for now, and then 3 health centers are also enjoying them. For sometimes back, when you go to Apachapa Hospital, whenever there is no light, you see them using phones for the patients. But for now, whenever there is no light, you can get this solar system. We are making sure that we will expand it to the other institutions.
We've seen what chance, what possibilities the solar systems for the school education, for the education of the kids is given, and we are very proud to be part of this project.
Right, Ibrahim, we know that this project is definitely going to be a game changer, but talk to us there how power supply in that area looks like and prompted this project to come into being.
Well, like we actually mentioned, bringing a relief to them for the beneficiary institutions. They believe that this will really improve on their delivery. For the likes of Yas and Twa, they are having 24 kg, so solar panel, even though they are still on the national grid, but part of the facility have been moved out of the national grid. For the health facility, some of them have even been taken off the national grid completely. And like the MC said, they are even looking at extending it to other institutions so that they will be able to adapt or move to renewable energy and also take off the burden on the national grid to be able to serve more communities.
And is this coming at any form of cost to the schools and the clinics?
Well, for now, no, because it's a partner project that they have with the Dutch or German development partners. So they have done this as pilot phase. Then when they realize that it is really helping, then the next phase of the project, that's when the institution will pay. But even with that, they are looking at the cost-benefit analysis and they are saying, whatever you are paying within it will last 25 years, but within 5 years of what you'll be paying for utility, it should be able to solve those things. So for now, they have done it without any cost to the assembly.
So that means that they are monitoring it for the first 5 years, and then subsequently they will see whether they need to extend it to the 25 years, if I got it right.
Exactly. So 25 years. So the installation, they said the lifespan will be 25 years. But for those who will be paying that after the monitoring, the subsequent ones, they are even looking, they've measured their utility bill for a 5-year period. Whatever you are paying within 5 years will be able to defray the cost of the entire project.
Ibrahim, thank you for those updates. My colleague Ibrahim Abubakar in the Ashanti region talking to us about that groundbreaking project where some schools and clinics in the Kwadasi municipality are now going to be powered by the sun as part of the municipal climate mitigation and adaptation program supported by the German development partners. Well, if you ask me, it's a good move there to diversify our power sources. Well, that will be all by way of the media news on 3FM 92.7. It came to you live from our studios here at the Sawe Kanda, Accra. Before we go, stories that came through as headlines this afternoon. Minority Caucus reject Health Minister's claim that the previous NPP administration before exiting power employed over 15,000 nurses without financial clearance. Also, operations at the Kwenyako Headworks resumes months after being shut due to pollution from illegal mining and compromised water quality. Chairman of the NDC, Johnson Esiedun Ketia, defends his decision to embark on a Tenki tour despite pressure on him to suspend same. And frustrated residents of Somanya and Odumase in the eastern region protest the deplorable state of their road networks. Many thanks for joining us. My name is Grace Hamwa Jiman. Log on to 3news.com and get some more stories. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Good afternoon.
3FM 92.7.
Accra gets busy on this frequency.
Three FM.
Hello, good afternoon and welcome to Business Daily on 3FM 92.7. Coming up this afternoon, CD rallies on strong Bank of Ghana interventions and export inflows will bring you details as analysts see more gains ahead. Also ahead, Finance Minister Dr. Adu leads Ghana delegation to IMF World Bank meetings in Washington as Moody's upgrade bolsters confidence in the economy. And Ghana-China set to conclude on zero tariff agreement by end October 2025. We'll hear from President John Dramani Mahama.
I'm happy to inform you that we reached agreement in principle and we have targeted the end of October to be able to sign off on the zero tariff principle.
I am Bismarck outside. These stories and others lined up for you. Please stay. Thanks for your company. Now to the details. The Ghana cedi has extended its 2-week winning streak against major trading currencies, buoyed by the Bank of Ghana's aggressive foreign exchange interventions and improved inflows from key export commodities. The local unit gained nearly 2% on the interbank market and over 5% on the retail market, with analysts expressing confidence that the momentum could persist in the coming weeks. The following 3 Business News Desk report has the details.
Ghana's local currency is on a firm rebound, strengthening sharply over the past 2 weeks on the back of strong central bank actions and rising export inflows. At the close of last week, the Bank of Ghana quoted the dollar at 11 cedis, 90 pesos on the interbank market, while forex bureaus opened the week selling the greenback at around 13 cedis, 30 pesos. According to Data Bank research, the cedi appreciated nearly 2% against the dollar, 2.3% against the euro, and 2.5% against the British pound on the interbank market. The gains were even stronger at the retail end, where the cedi advanced 3.4% against the dollar and over 5% against the pound. Analysts attribute the rally to the Bank of Ghana's decision to double the frequency of its foreign exchange auctions, a move that has boosted market confidence and narrowed bid-ask spreads. Gold prices surging past $4,000 per ounce also provided strong external support, reinforcing optimism that the cedi could strengthen further, potentially reaching 11 cedis 50 pesos on the interbank market in the coming weeks.
And that was a 3 Business News Desk report on the cedi rallying on strong Bank of Ghana interventions and export inflows. Moving on, Finance Minister Dr. Adu is leading a high-level government delegation to Washington, D.C. for the 2025 annual meetings of the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank Group. The meetings, which run from October 13 to 18, bring together global finance leaders to discuss economic priorities and strategies for sustainable growth. There is more in the following 3 Business News Desk report. Dr. Adu is accompanied by the Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Isiama, and senior officials from both institutions. The delegation is expected to engage in a series of high-level discussions with IMF and World Bank management, global investors and development partners, as well as participate in the Sovereign Debt Roundtable. The meetings come at a crucial time for Ghana's economy, following the country's recent staff-level agreement with the IMF under the 5th review of the Extended Credit Facility. Once approved by the IMF board, the deal is expected to unlock an additional $385 million to support Ghana's reform program. In a related development, international ratings agency Moody's has upgraded Ghana's sovereign credit outlook, citing improved fiscal discipline and strong reform momentum. The IMF and World Bank have also commended Dr. Forson's economic management team for restoring confidence and laying the groundwork for sustainable growth. The finance minister is expected to use the Washington meetings to deepen partnerships, attract new investments, and push for a fairer global financial system that supports developing economies. And that was a 3 Business News Desk report. The Public Interest and Accountability Committee, PIAC, is urging government to act swiftly to halt Ghana's declining crude oil production and introduce innovative measures to attract new investments into the upstream petroleum sector. The call follows a sharp drop in both production volumes and petroleum revenues recorded in the first half of 2025.
The Public Interest and Accountability Committee, PIAC, says Ghana's oil sector is losing steam, with production and revenues both taking a significant hit. In its first half 2025 report, PIAC revealed that crude oil output fell by nearly 26% from about 24.9 million barrels in the same period last year to just over 18.4 million barrels this year. The report also showed that total petroleum receipts dropped by 56% from over $840 million in the first half of 2024 to about $370 million this year. Vice Chair of PIAC, or therefore Amwakwa Boadu VII, expressed concern that Ghana has not signed any new petroleum agreement since 2018, a situation he says threatens future production prospects. He is calling on government and the Energy Ministry to intensify efforts to attract fresh investment and address operational challenges facing the industry. PIAC says its latest report aims to help guide policy decisions and promote transparency in the management of Ghana's oil and gas resources.
And that was a 3 Business News Desk report. This is still Business Daily on 3FM 92.7 with me, Bismarck Ausatu. One of our headline stories, President John Dramani Mahama has revealed that Ghana and China are set to conclude on a zero-tariff agreement by end of this month. China has said that the expansion of its zero-tariff policy to cover all 53 African countries, including Ghana, is set to maintain diplomatic ties to boost Africa's economy and offer the continent a benchmark to seek equal and better terms from other trading partners. Speaking at a presidential investment forum in Beijing, China, President John Dramani Mahama announced that both nations have reached an agreement towards achieving that course.
Between 2020 and 2024, China's exports to Ghana rose by nearly 46%, while Ghana's exports to China increased by over 11%. China's decision to grant zero tariff access to Ghanaian and African products signals the confidence in our partnership. It opens vast new markets for Ghanaian exporters, agro-processors, and manufacturers. And I'm happy to inform you that we reached agreement in principle, and we have targeted the end of October to be able to sign off on the zero tariff principle. I wish to commend the government of China for this act of solidarity. We are all aware that the multilateral rules-based trading system is being upended by unilateral slapping of tariffs on different countries. This is the time for us to solidarize and to come together, and this initiative by China is very timely.
And that was President John Dramani Mahama revealing Ghana and China are set to conclude on a zero-tariff agreement by end October 2025. Before we go, international trade analyst Louise Afol is warning that Ghana could face tariff penalties from trading partners if government goes ahead with plans to suspend the export of raw cocoa beans. His caution follows recent remarks by Vice President Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, who reiterated government's commitment to shift from exporting raw cocoa to developing a value-added cocoa economy that creates jobs and empowers farmers. Speaking on Business Focus on TV3, Mr. Afol stressed the need to boost domestic consumption of cocoa